All right. Hey, everyone. Good afternoon, or is it good evening? It's good evening. That's what it is. All right. What we got going on today? It is Nicole, Jada, and Al. What do those three names have in common? Well, it's all about what's going to be going down here on Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. I'm Val the Voice Johnson, and we have a wonderful show for you. So hang tight, and we'll be right here and right back after this. You guys, go ahead and let people know we're here. It's Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays. Woohoo! Let's go. On Tuesdays, we are back. We are back in effect. And definitely, we want to let you guys know our episode today is brought to you by our affiliate sponsor, Legal Shield. If you need a will or a trust updated, or if you're worried about identity theft, that's always horrible, or you have a business that you need to protect or trademark, learn how Legal Shield can help represent your needs at a fraction of the cost. Go ahead and visit our website, linktr.ee/Pure Light Media for more information. And then, of course, go ahead and text the word legal and get some information regarding that. And then, of course, if you're interested in starting your own platform or becoming a fan of Interludes, join us on Patreon. Go ahead and ask Mr. Springer to place the link in the chat. Become a fan or a member of our podcasting community today. Oh my goodness. Well, I have to say I'm going to see who is in the chat and saying hello and greetings to everyone. Go ahead and give a shout. Let me know where you are at. Our guest is in the building, coach is in the building. I see I'll have to check out Facebook to see who this is. Hello. Thank you. I hate when it says Facebook user. I don't know who that is. And I see Bella. I was on the phone with her a little bit earlier. She's trying to get me to New York. So the folks that's listening from New York or watching, you guys are like, yeah, she's gonna come. Yeah, that could happen. And shalom to you as well, Queen Bella. Thank you so very much. I appreciate you so very much. Oh my goodness. Well, we're gonna get into it. We're gonna get into it. And thank you so much for that, Kevin. If you love or like the platform of Interludes Extra Talk on Tuesdays, do me a wonderful favor right now. If you're watching from YouTube, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you haven't, go ahead and share it as well. We are getting close to our 500 subscribers. I'm going to be starting something very soon regards to that. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and that is Pure Light Lighthouse Media. Oh my goodness. Let me see who else is in the building, I'm so glad to see you. Oh, okay, good. I see the Bronx is in the house. So it's Steven. Good to see you. And I see Queen Lakeisha is here. So good to see you as well. See, we got New York, we got Maryland, we got ATL. ATL is in the building. Thank you so very much. So we're going to get to this story. Have you heard of Nicole Hannah Jones? Over the weekend, I got a chance to attend this wonderful event that was given by a city college here called Kennedy King. And friend to the show and former guest of Interludes went ahead and introduced me to Nicole Hannah Jones. Now, she is known and she is the number one New York Times bestseller for the book 1619 Project. And of course, earlier this year, we did review the 1619 Project as a 6-part docuseries that is on Hulu. If you haven't checked it out or read the book, please do so. Never understood the argument and speaks for reparations, But I got an education from Nicole as she spoke to a cute and a small audience there at Kennedy King College. Ted Williams III, thank you so very much for the invite. That's him over there on the left. That's my left, your right. And Nicole dropped some gems about the reparations conversation. Some things I did not understand. If you understand the wealth gap and kind of that, what can we do? How far behind, unfortunately, African Americans are behind, I want to say our white counterparts, is astounding. And it's unfortunately because of redlining in real estate. It's because of higher taxes. It's a bunch of stuff. And so she decided to go ahead and come to Kennedy King and kind of break it down. About 2 years ago, the Illinois Commission for Reparations were started, and she spoke to that. Now, I was thinking to myself, do we need reparations? Is there such thing? But it's been happening. If you know about Black Wall Street, especially the one that happened in Oklahoma, because unfortunately it happened in several different cities and across Illinois as well as Oklahoma and other places. Think about the wealth that could have been had if people of color were not killed or their businesses absolutely destroyed. If you read the 1619 Project, and it definitely talks about when slaves came to this Americas, we have, unfortunately, we have governors like DeSantis in Florida saying, nope, you shouldn't teach stuff like that. We want to keep things, we don't want to talk about slavery. But to avoid slavery happening again, it needs to be talked about. Talk to anyone that's Jewish. They will let you know about the Holocaust. And if you diss the Holocaust or talk against it, you'll get checked. And Nicole Hannah-Jones is one person that will check you. It was beautiful to meet her in person, and I really congratulated her on the work she's doing regarding reparations, that conversation, and then also informing other, African Americans about your rights regarding that. And so I asked her, and I formally invited her to come on the show. So we're working on having her come on, but it was good to have and talk with her about the 1619 Project and also that project that is on Hulu. Oh my goodness. And so I'm going to see what you guys are saying here in the chat. That was so good to be there. And I see, CM is here. How you doing? So goodness. And I see Ursula is here. She says, and she can check you with a red mark. Oh, very much so. Very much so. She does not play. Now, I don't know how I'm going to pivot into this, but I'm going to. I've seen so much chatter. I've done a couple of things on different platforms via Clubhouse and a few other folks. But I think, yes, the interview that got hit, I want to say, with this young lady. We are not going to talk about this for a long time because our guest is here, but I'm just going to mention it and acknowledge it. The book Worthy from Jada Pinkett Smith comes out today. She's been on a book tour. Now I'm going to do this, and I don't want nobody blasting me on this. If you are an author or a future author, and if you want to study how to release a book and get everybody talking about it, this is the blueprint. I have never seen such a strategic campaign placed around releasing a book. Now, Worthy, Jada has been kind of all over the place. She was on the Jay Shetty podcast, and then you got Stephen A. Smith talking about this. You have The View talking about this. It's all over the place. And of course, just kind of the topic. And when I say it's a tough topic, we know what happened at the Oscars back in 2022. Myself and our Mr. Womble, we covered that. And she's coming out with this book and she's releasing it and she's talking about what's happened. I know she's releasing a book. I'm curious to know what she's going to be talking about, but I feel like there's damage done to her marriage, even though now she's been on she came back on the Today Show after appearing on there, I think in, what was that, either Thursday or Friday of last week. And I felt like she did like a cleanup. Like she says, no, we're okay. We're not divorcing. And the big news, the big headline that stood out was that the two of them had been separated since 2016. So it made the entanglement situation understandable because they weren't together. But she's released this book, and I am someone that is writing my own book right now. I am studying how she released it and how she's kind of, marketed this, but I think it's a big price. It's a big price that she is paying, her family is paying for her to get her truth out in this book. This is my own personal opinion. And I know a lot of folks are thinking, everyone's got an opinion on it, but then this is how I'll go ahead and wrap it up. When you have seen as many videos as many of us have seen, where she has belittled and talked about or talked down to her husband, I don't know if I'm interested in reading about the book. I don't think I am. And as much as I love and respect both Smiths, I want them to just go away and get some therapy and heal away from the public eye. I'm dead serious about that. Jada and I are the same age. I think there was something where Debbie Allen appeared with her on the Today Show a little bit earlier. She's getting support and everything, but I think it's mainly to sell the book. So I wanted to mention it. I didn't want to spend too much time on it. And yet I see my friend from the Bronx says it's not the blueprint, but it's more like relationship crucifixion. I don't know. It's just bad. So unfortunately, I'm not interested in reading the book. I want them to go off and heal somewhere so that Will is not. I really feel sorry for Will in this situation. So for that, I totally get it. But anyway, it's time to pivot hard. I know Tony's going to talk. He's going to mention something about it, but we're going to now jump into our sports. And then we have a wonderful, talented guest today. Oh my goodness. So here we're going to bring him on, the coach.
I'm over here stepping like a capper, you know what I'm saying? Come on now. Hey, I'm just coming off a Tennessee State homecoming. I'm still hyped up.
I bet Tennessee State's homecoming is like litty. Like
let me tell you something.
Say.
That it's one of those, if you ain't never been here, you better get here. You know what I mean? I know that you and I have been working on getting that Aristocrat of Bands people here, so we need to get him on this show so we can get the vibe and really feel.
Yes.
Yeah. We need to introduce some interludes. We need to get him here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm very excited. I've never done so much reading about football than in preparation for this interview, because I did not want to, I'm the entertainment side of things, but I definitely was excited when you told me, hey, Val, right here in Tennessee, we have this great person coming on, and tell us about who is going to be coming in just a few seconds here.
Man,
who do we have?
But before I put some, I love jalapenos. So before I sprinkle them jalapenos on that food, because it's going to get your mouth all warm, let's clear a couple things up here. One, you asked about the question about the Jada situation. And what I'm going to tell you is, if you are not familiar with an artist by the name of Snow Allegra, do you know who she is?
I know her. Yeah, I love that.
They call her the new Sade. But if you're not up on Snow Allegra, she has a song called Situationship. All I'm saying, listen to that song. That's Jada and Will. All day, every day, Val.
Anyway,
It's crazy.
it makes me uncomfortable because I'm such a fan of Will, and I just
I know.
you know, and you know what they say, well, somebody does something that makes a whole species look bad.
Yeah.
Black women. So I'm just kind of doing this. Just
Let me tell you, I'm with you, Val, and I was going nuts on that. But, and another piece of thing we got to clean up. Good pick, girl. Right now, I'm up 2-1 on you right now with them Las Vegas Aces over your New York Liberty. They played great over the weekend. Breanna Stewart set it off. She set it off and she had a beautiful block against my girl, Asia. I was like really mad. But tomorrow night, game number 4. And as much as I want to close it out in New York and really get back next week to really give it to you, I'm hoping that New York wins so we can go back to Vegas over the weekend on Sunday and wrap it up. So by the time we talk next Tuesday, then I'm already telling you, for promotional purposes only.
We have to always emphasize that. You please do not make any bets and blame Coach. Don't do it. Don't do it. We're not responsible.
Because right now I'm struggling in the MLB World Series. I'm struggling right now. So, and speaking of basketball, Val, you got to put these pictures up. If you guys didn't see over the weekend, and Val and I talked about this young lady last year, because remember, Val, it was a situation we were dealing with Caitlin Clark and Reese with LSU and Iowa national championship game, and a phenomenal feat. I keep telling you guys, if you're not watching women's basketball, you are sleeping because they are coming and they're coming hard. This weekend, Val, Iowa Hawkeyes played our beloved DePaul Blue Demons, Terry Cummins' beloved DePaul Blue Demons. And although DePaul got beat, the Iowa basketball team, women's basketball, set a record for women's basketball. 56,000 people showed up at Kinnick Stadium to watch Iowa and DePaul. And the funny part about it, Val, it was a preseason game. And of course, our girl Caitlin Clark didn't disappoint. She dropped 41 points, 8 assists, 5 rebounds. So I'm looking forward to the season. It's going to be interesting.
It's going to be fun. It's going to be phenomenal. Wow. Yeah.
Phenomenal. Absolutely. And you did mention something that you told everybody. And I'm telling you, we've had Terry, we've had other guys, and we continue to blow out because this is the hottest podcast. I'm telling you right now, I keep telling you guys for the last year, if you're not on Interludes, hit the subscribe button, but more importantly, push the left hand, hit the like us button, and you're going to get all the updates from my girl, Val, the voice. Of course, you know me, Coach Tony. We're going to give it to you week after week after week. And tonight, Val, is my guy. I mean, I don't even know what to say, but this guy, most of the time we got our Chicago people on, right? We always want to show love. But we're going to take this week tonight, Val. We're going to the West Coast. We're going
Cali.
to the Cali. Going back to Cali, going back to Cali.
I don't think so.
There you go. This guy is a Utah State University All-American, 10 years in the league in the NFL, 880 combined tackles, or what too many people getting away from him. Pro Bowl in 91 and 92. And of course, Val, he's my brother from another mother. So you know how that go. Let's get on here. Let's talk about my boy. Let's bring on my man, Mr. Al Smith, Houston Oil.
Yay, Al. Woohoo.
How you doing, Val and Tony? How y'all doing?
Hey,
We're
man,
doing great.
You can throw me some money on the table for that introduction whenever you want, man. It's good.
Wait, whoa. Why are we trying to get money?
I already give you too much, man.
Right. Man, how you doing today, my brother?
It's good, blessed, man. Any day you wake up and can face the day, it's a good day. And I got to meet a new friend in Val today, so it's an exceptional day.
Oh yeah, Val, my girl, man. Me and Val been rocking, man, like Mud and Jeff for several decades, man. So it's been real good.
Well, I guess you're Mud then, I guess.
Yeah, you already know.
Wow.
Thick and thin, Mud and Jeff, you already know, man. It's good.
Jeff, they have a better name, but out of the two, that's the best name for her.
Because I ain't about to be no Karen either. You know how that go. I can't call Val Karen. We can't do that.
No, we can't do that.
So what you got, Coach? I was doing the research because I'm thinking, the Houston Oilers, and then they moved to Tennessee, so it's now the Tennessee Titans. Is that correct, Coach?
Yeah. Hey, tighten up, baby. Tighten up. You better tighten up. You know what I'm saying? We already know. We already got them stamped. Even though I'm a Chicago Bear, true to heart, Val, you know that. But this guy right here, played against our legends at home, even during the time that our beloved Bears, was making some move before he got there. But, Al, just to give the people, here on Interludes Talk on Tuesday, man, this is one of the quickest and the hottest podcasts that's coming up. And Val and I are really hitting some major corners. And first of all, we want to appreciate you just being here tonight, sharing some of your time and some of your wisdom on our audience. We nationwide, baby. We got some of your people from LA on board right now tonight to New York.
West Side,
hey, we do it, man. So, but
Inglewood?
Tell the people, just let's take it back to the childhood days. And I know how you and I do our sons. We're gonna throw the ball in their hand and kind of help them steer the direction we want. But who was the person that really back in the day in LA that kind of introduced you to football, and kind of the neighborhood you grew up in? Was that kind of what the kids were doing?
Well, when I, grew up, obviously, LA, the city of angels, as they say, what have you. And I was very fortunate, I'm very fortunate to have, they call it the city of angels, but I had a lot of guardian angels in the city of angels. And a lot of people looked out for me, guided me, or what have you. But I was able to, my brother, I had a brother who was 2 years older than me. I had something to follow. I had a mentor. You don't talk about mentors, but you don't look at your brother at the time as a mentor. You just look at him as your brother. So you kind of look at him like, okay, well, he was the first, person, the first thing that I saw of what I thought I should be, or something that that I should emulate or follow. And it just so happened we played the same position. I'm 2 years behind him, so every time he go to, he in middle school, then I'm coming behind him. If he's in high school, I'm coming behind him. So I always had this rabbit in front of me. I had to kind of chase, trying to keep up, because he would always set the standard, but not only just the standard on the field, but the standard in the classroom, because he was the epitome of what it was to be a student athlete, and that was my first inkling of what a student athlete looked like. But I didn't start out playing tackle football. I call it street ball. We play flag.
Catch a man, kill a man. We did that. Yeah.
It was like,
Val. Yeah, Val. You know about that? Hey, Val, that was it. Back in the day, you dropped the football, Val. Big huddle, like rugby. Whoever picked it up, catch a man, kill a man.
Catch a man, kill a man. You know how it go. But the thing about it, we didn't always have, the nice grass or the parks or whatever. So, you gonna lose some skin if you hit the ground. So, it's on the pavement. Got to watch the curb. You got to watch the car on the street.
There's parts of LA that's hilly too. So where did you grow up in Los Angeles?
Well, I grew up in Inglewood. Inglewood. The song, so we up to no good. So I grew up in Inglewood, right there. Obviously people see it now where the new stadium is, and
so far.
It was the Fabulous Forum. Now it's Kia and all these other stuff. The Fabulous Forum. So it was a lot. It was a lot different then than it is now as far as growing up. But at the same time, that's where I grew up in Inglewood and was able to, be with a lot of different guys and be able to kind of learn that. Because, I learned the flag. I didn't play tackle football, Tony, until I was in high school. So a lot of people, what? You talk about these Pee Wee leagues. And Well, we had, my parents had the money. I'm not going to Pee Wee League and pads and all this equipment and stuff like that.
Right.
So I had to just grab it and, like you said, grab it and get it. And I didn't play, like I said, tackle until I was almost in the 10th grade. So I felt like I was ready and prepared because street ball, if getting pads and being on a team, being on a structured team, that was like easy to me after playing.
Exactly.
So
they tell you who's gonna get the ball.
So I felt like I was prepared, battle tested, mentally tough, and all that stuff like that because of the fact that I would always have to play with the older, like the little older guys, because like you said, you had your brother, a couple years older, so you got his friends, and you had that gap in there, so you had to either step up or get out. You can either you go get with it or get out the way. So so I had to get with it, so to speak, and that was kind of like my first inkling of what football meant, what it was. It was live blocking, like you have linemen. It wasn't like now. Touch or YMCA, you can't hit, you can't touch the court. It was none of that. It was like, you get it. You block like you see them blocking in the NFL, like blocking and doing it without pads.
Right.
So could hurt. Which could
hurt. Yeah, that hurt. So looking at that, and as it gets you, so now you're coming through high school, end up being a standout, get an opportunity to go. The steps that you took. I talked to kids. Because now these new kids, and you and I talked about that earlier, and we talk about that quite a bit, how the kids nowadays, and they want the easy road. Val and I, we go nuts about just talking about the, I don't care if it's from on a DJ to, where they got these newer pieces of equipment and plugged in and not, vinyl to want to be a journalist or whoever. But in that football arena that you now come out, but before you get to Utah State, you take a side route to Cal Poly Pomona. Now, how did that happen? And then you end up going on to Utah State and then into the league.
Well, one thing, coming out of high school, I went to St. Bernard High School. I got bused to a Catholic school from where I was. So I went to St. Bernard's High School. So I had to get bused. Go through like Inglewood High and all these different areas. That was like a journey itself because it was like the city bus. This is not the Williamson County bus.
Right. So did you get pulled over like in the NWA in the movie when my man jumped on the bus?
Hey, anything like that? Come on, Pat. We might stop the bus on the city bus. Anything can jump on at any minute on the city bus.
Val, you know about the CTA. Come on, don't be sleeping on me.
Well, this is called RTD. It was Rapid Transit District, but we call it Richard T. Davis. Anything around on the RTD. So going on, so going through that process, going to St. Bernard's and having a career there and playing football for a few years and what have you. I didn't get the scholarship offers that. I thought, I deserve. I didn't get I didn't get to the All-Star game. I thought I was going to the All-Star game. The guys that didn't necessarily look like me were getting these accolades over me and things like that. So I kind of like, okay, well, what is the opportunity I did have? So I was very fortunate to have the opportunity to go to Cal Poly. Their head coach at that time was Roman Gabriel, who was a long-time quarterback in the NFL. For the Los Angeles Rams. A lot of people may remember Roman Gabriel, and he took a liking to me and whatever, and gave me the opportunity to come there and like the way I played. I ended up starting, playing, playing a lot or what have you. But the unfortunate thing, they didn't have a lot of funding at Cal Poly, and they ended up dropping their program.
Oh no!
Dropping their program, I got a chance to get recruited again. Well, then now everybody want me.
Yeah.
6 months. So from the season, you graduate from high school in June,
right?
Go through camp, have my first season. So in December, I'm getting recruited again within a 6-month period.
Wow.
So everybody, and you couldn't sit out. I mean, you didn't have to sit out or anything at that time. So by them dropping their program, it was just like fair game. So other schools were coming in picking guys. We have 4 guys off of my freshman class they ended up going pro. Actually, at Cal Poly, we were going to have a good team for the future. It was a nice build going to the future. Our freshman class was pretty solid, and everybody got D1 scholarships off their freshman. I say everybody. 5 guys off the freshman class got D1 scholarships.
Wow.
After that freshman season, because, same situation, we're able to be seen and what have you. So I was able to get recruited again. And then obviously Utah State came to the table and was opportunity to get away from home, get out of California and what have you. Yeah, you say, well, Utah, but at the same time, I needed, I had Vegas and, other people pulling at me, but, you're young, you're 18 and whatever, and you like Reno or Vegas. And, and you see, golly, man, the campus here and the strippers over there. So
ask talk Stark, man. That's what grandma did, man. Hey, you go win a game, let's get them tables going. I feel like I was, pretty structured, but at the same time, I didn't want that pulling at me every day. Right. Yeah.
So I didn't want to go somewhere to where school and ball was the focus. Obviously, Utah, cold weather, it was totally different. I wanted something totally different to kind of keep me kind of focused on the things that I needed to be focused on. Couldn't run home. Didn't have money for flights just to, I'm homesick. I'm gonna just go drive home, or I'm gonna just go fly home. I had to catch, I told you, Val, Richard T. Davis was in the city. Greyhound was my friend.
There you go.
Yeah, Greyhound, baby.
On the Greyhound.
So Greyhound, and you got to go through Vegas from LA. You got to go through Vegas to get to Salt Lake City to get to Utah. So I always had to pass Vegas. Go through Vegas to get to school in the breaks and things like that from the Greyhound. But that's kind of how I got to Cal Poly. And then from Cal Poly, obviously getting recruited again to Utah State. But I think that was a great experience for me. Even though you think you're the dude in high school or what have you, a lot of times in life you get humbled or whatever the case may be. You didn't get the opportunity you want, but other guys knew, hey, I should have been this or player of the year or got these different things. But it didn't happen at that time. But it didn't discourage me. It still kept me on the path and was able to meet a lot of good people along the way, teachers, mentors, other athletes, people going through the same fight that I had to go through. So by the time Utah State, then, I went there, redshirted, had to, redshirted. Actually, my brother was there because I wanted to have the opportunity to play with my brother. He was, like I said, a couple years older than me, but I ended up getting redshirted because the team was so stacked and what have you, to where I ended up getting redshirted to where I didn't get to play with him in senior year. I thought, okay, get one year, you play with your brother in college, but that had never materialized because he went on and got drafted and went to the pros, and then the next year, then I was able to
start making your name yourself. That's funny. We talk about that in that little piece as well. Go ahead, Val.
So while you were there in Utah, who was some of the folks that mentored you on and off the field?
Well, the one I mentioned before, I was fortunate to have my brother there for a year. Mm-hmm. So I had my brother for a year, but at the same time, you know how it is when you have brothers. They're 2 years older. He got his, they seniors and juniors, and it's like being a freshman in high school again. You starting over. They had their group. I may see him wave or whatever, and we may have a talk time to time, but for the most part, he was with his crew. And I was
that's how we did Val when she was on y'all with us. She get it. Hey.
Yeah, I was a freshman in college when he was a senior.
Yes, I was like, what's up? Hey, so you know how that go. And the funny part about that, Al, our homeboy and my guy, Blaine Bishop, kind of the same stigma that you had, coming out St. Joe's in Indiana, goes on. He happens to go to a camp with one of his homeboys. Someone seen him there. The coach liked what he did and moved on to Ball State. So when you're sitting there at that Utah State, you got your brother, you got your mentors, and you sitting there, and now you redshirting. You just came out of Cal Poly. And by the way, Val, Cal Poly now is back to a solid program, and they are lit in Southern Cal. And I think, Al, they are they back to D1. I think they D2 now.
D2.
Okay. And so they're doing some big stuff in the program. So now the tide turns and you get to Utah State. You get out your red shirt year. Now you start making that name for yourself. Did you end up being, then now you're what, a red shirt sophomore, right?
Yeah, I'm like a sophomore. And Val mentioned about like mentors. Obviously I mentioned my brother, but another one, I was very fortunate. You talking about teachers and history. I had a gentleman who, one of my history teachers, who to this day we stay in touch. He's in his 80s, and to this day we still stay in touch. When I was in the pros, he would come to the games when he can come to the games, and it was kind of like having a parent away from home. And the thing about it, this parent didn't necessarily look like me, but he took interest in me. And a lot of times, kids, from the city don't embrace that, because, just because somebody don't look like you, that don't mean they can't invest in you.
Right.
And
exactly.
And he invested in me as far as, okay, yeah, he's my teacher, a professor, but it was almost like, having, whether it be coming over meals at the house with him and the wife, cook a home cooked meal, or just something to bounce something off of, or you're going through something, or just having another adult that doesn't have any ulterior motive, is not a coach, or it's not somebody that's trying to get something out of you. This is neutral. All he wants you to do is to do well academically, and obviously, you're playing sports, so want you to do well as what have you. But the main thing was, hey, finishing school or what have you. And he's even had me come back, speak to classes and whatever over the years. Going back up there to lecture or talk to some of his classes and all those type of things. So that was another mentor as well, outside of my brother. But I wanted to just mention that to Val, because she had brought that that point up. But that's where that core happened within that. And then Tony, to your point, you said as a sophomore, I became like a redshirt sophomore. Then I started, the rest of the years that I was at Utah State. I ended up being the player of the year my senior year in the conference, right? And was fortunate enough to, start, getting recognized. I'll always have, we played the big school, SC. So, going back home to LA, I was played in the Coliseum. And, And at that time, Long Beach State, where we were in the college, Long Beach State had, had a team, Fresno, Vegas was in our conference. Randall Cunningham, he's a quarterback.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Wow.
All these dudes was in the conference. All these dudes was in the conference.
Wow.
So, we had a high level of play within the conference. Obviously, Utah, BYU, the in-state, BYU and Utah always, always in the top rankings. Even now, even today, they, Utah and BYU are always up there and always have. Steve Young, going against Steve Young as a quarterback. BYU. See, these are the quarterbacks I had to go against in college. So it was a gauntlet. Every week. We had the conference and obviously the out of conference. So was able to be really battle tested to get ready for the pros. So obviously, Utah State, may have not been the biggest name university, but we played big schools, and I always tried to have big games against the big schools, and then you get noticed. Like USC,
right. That's key.
And all those schools. So that's why I always tell kids that it doesn't matter where you go. I'm like Cal Poly, Utah State. It don't matter. You can go to Alabama or USC. You can sit on the bench for 4 years and say you're on the team if you want to.
Hey, what's your boy Nick Saban say? You only need 1 year at Alabama to be good, and you can get drafted. Right?
Wow.
Yeah, that Val, that's my, and Al, you hit it on the head, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because that's one of my speeches. As I do what I call a rodeo show with some of my high school kids on my NIL stuff. Everyone always thinks that they need to go to that quote unquote to a Power Five. Val, a Power Five is basically the 5 top conferences in the U.S., which now Pac-12 is broken up. So it's basically the Power Four moving forward. But, when you have a solid mid-major like a Utah State, or now days like an Appalachian State, because nobody want to play App State, the scouts, are going to find you. If you can play, they're going to find you. Now, here it is, Al, you find yourself out of a red shirt. Now you're All-American, you're doing well. Now here comes the draft. You get drafted by the Houston Oilers. You go get drafted in the 6th round by the Oilers. And how did that make you feel, knowing the path you just took from the neighborhood, from the Catholic school? It wasn't a big Catholic school, a small Catholic school. Yeah. And now you're in a situation with a small school. It folds up. You get moved over to a bigger school, playing against big-time competition. Now you're on the draft board. How are you feeling then?
Yeah.
Well, obviously, I was ecstatic. It was like obviously a dream come true. But I was able to, like I was telling you about at the beginning, having that mentor and having that rabbit, so to speak, in front of me to outline the chase. Well, my brother got drafted 6th round, 2 years previous to the Denver Broncos. Right. So by him getting drafted, guess what? Well, now I get to go up there and see how those guys work out. I was spending, my off time, in Denver, Elway, Tom Jackson,
wow.
All those older dudes. Yeah. They were able to instill the knowledge in me before I even got there. How to conduct yourself like a pro, how to be a pro, your character, all these other things that
high level stuff.
The high level stuff. So I didn't get the knucklehead stuff. And then they even had running back Rick Parrish that was drafted there from Utah State, who knew of me, and Rulon Jones, who's All-American in Utah State, that was on their team. Greg Cragen, a defensive tackle who was drafted out of Utah State, was on that team as well. So I was able. These guys saw me as a young dude. So now they see that I've kind of risen to that level. They poured into me then, but they poured into me even now. Now that I have went from that amateur to that pro status, so I was able to see that and embrace that. And being a 6th round pick, let the listeners know that back then it was 12 rounds.
Right.
So it wasn't like 7. So it was 12 rounds, 6th round pick. So I'm thinking in my mind, I got 50-50 shot, right?
Right.
So I feel like I had pretty good odds. And to put on top of this, Tony, they drafted 3 linebackers before they drafted me.
Oh my goodness! Oh wow!
That the second round.
So now you're coming through the door swinging.
Yeah. So the 2nd round pick was a linebacker. The 4th round pick was a linebacker, and they had 2 6th round picks were both linebackers. And the other linebacker was from LSU. So I got these dudes like you say LSU. These dudes now, I'm going against all these dudes that
SEC boys.
All these SEC supposed boys. Well, yeah. I ended up beating them all out, and I ended up being very fortunate to be I went into training camp. I got to tell you this though, Tony. We went into training camp, 4th team. When you're a rookie, man, you're in the back, right?
Yeah, you're in the back. Yeah.
I'm like, oh man, 4th team. I ain't never seen from the back.
Right. And before you get to the bus, make sure you bring them bags with you.
Then you bring the bags, and then you got all the older dudes, making you do stuff and carry this.
Yeah.
I'm like,
yes,
man,
sir.
I was like, I need to move up the ranks, man, because they ain't gonna be, punking me, so to speak. I ain't gonna get so the LA, because now that's another thing, you're on a team val with guys from all different parts of the country. So you're in the South. I'm a West Coast LA guy. So now I got guys from the country, guys from whatever. So, they look at West Coast dudes different.
Right.
They dudes from the South. They think they tougher, they think they tougher than the West Coast, and, city boys are different than this. And I'm like, okay. Like y'all got me twisted. so just kind of moving up the ranks, just by my play, by the study, being prepared, not hanging out, guys doing all this other stuff. I kept my eyes on the prize, so to speak, along the way. Mm-hmm. I was very fortunate, man, to start as a rookie And in every game I played as a pro, I always start. I started. I was very fortunate. I never was a backup in my life.
Oh, that's all. And we talking about a situation where you was on this team, Val, with Warren Moon, the quarterback, and my homeboy Ernest Givens, wide receiver, was on the same your rookie year coming through the door.
Yeah.
I wasn't playing. We had like on defense. Now, just think of the dudes we had now. We had 3 Hall of Famers on offense.
Wow.
Right? Hall of Fame dudes. Offense, Mike Munchak, Bruce Matthews on the line. We had first round picks up and down the line, whether it be Bruce Davis, Dean Steinkühler, all these big names from Nebraska and what have you. Across the offensive line, Miami, Nebraska, Mike Rozier, another Heisman Trophy winner.
Yes, Rozier.
Rozier was a running back. Alan Pickett from Notre Dame.
Pickett
from Michigan State. The receivers, the run and shoot receivers, and so we had those dudes. And then on defense, we had seven Pro Bowlers.
Wow.
So you couldn't, we didn't have no. I don't know what you call it, take punks, but we had some dudes, man, and you had to bring it, otherwise you get chewed up and spit to the side. So I was very fortunate to kind of break that lineup, but I took it, I took it to heart and really embraced it and didn't take it for granted, because guys get hurt all the time. Anything can happen. I was very fortunate to stay healthy for the most part for most of the career. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I had guys, and when I see at these alumni events and see guys over the years or what have you, and that respect is still there. And that's why you go through what you went through or what have you, because no matter what, even if a guy didn't like you, and you've been on a lot of teams, everybody might not like you, but they darn sure go to respect you. And as long as you have the respect, that's all you can ask for.
And let me jump in here real quick. So you were blessed to be on one team your entire NFL career. There's a lot of people that can't say that. They get traded, they move around, and they're different. Yeah, that type of thing. So this is 10 years, right? 10 years you were with the Houston Oilers. What can you say, which was the most memorable game to you of all? That's probably a tough question, but if you could think of that one game that was like,
Well, I can't. It's hard to kind of pinpoint. There's a lot of big games. There was even memorable games that we didn't win. That sticks in my mind too. I would like to say my moment, my NFL moment, so to speak. It was, when you're making a team, you go to training camp, and back then in training camp, players didn't get their decals on their helmet. You had to earn that. Mm-hmm. So like the star on the helmet that you see, the oil derrick that you see, the Titan flame that you see on all these helmets, or the G of the Green Bay Packers, all those things in training camp. You didn't see any training camp that you saw. You didn't see logos on the helmet, because you had to make the team to get the logo.
Wow.
So you have to earn that. Now everybody wears it and they get cut, and it's
right.
But
everybody get a trophy.
Yeah, everybody get a trophy.
And you get a trophy. You get a trophy.
But back then you had to earn that sticker when you made the team. That's when you got your decal, when you made the team. And in our third, we had 4 preseason games every year. And the third preseason game one year, we always played the Dallas Cowboys in a third preseason game, because obviously Houston, Dallas, and I'm talking about Houston, Dallas, when Tony mentioned the dudes that we had. So the dudes that Dallas had.
Yeah, they had them boys.
With the triplets, they had a great offensive line. They had, great tight end. They had
receivers.
Michael Irvin. They had the defense. Yep. They had all the Super Bowl dudes.
Yep.
Well, we will always go toe to toe them. We always said that even to this day, if we played them in the Super Bowl, if we would have got past Buffalo, that was going to be the Super Bowl of all ages.
Yeah.
But we didn't take care of our end of the business for whatever reason. But I was the third preseason game. Tony, you're in stretch lines. When teams out there roaming up and stretching, and we would sit down on the stretch lines and be stretching. And the coach take you through your stretches and what have you. And most games of preseason game, coaches come around. Hey, have a good game. Good luck today. Give you a couple words, a little pat on the back, all those type of things. Well, this particular game, okay, this is third preseason game. Well, usually when you're a 6th round pick and you are a draft choice, you may play some in the second half. After all the starters and everything else, then they put the draft choices in the second half. So I'm thinking up to this point, the first 2 games, I would get the second, part of the second half where I, get a quarter or whatever the case, the first 2. Well, this third one, I get a tap on the shoulder by my coach. At that time, his name was Floyd Reese. And we called him Sarge because he was like a drill sergeant. His nickname was Sarge. So he like Sarge, like military. Like he was, strict and hard, obviously, hard on the rookies. And he tapped me on the shoulder, and I'm thinking, my mindset the second half, okay, I'm gonna be ready and get my, get my quarter in, a quarter and a half, or whatever the coach was gonna give me. So so this particular game, he tapped me on the shoulder and said, good luck today. And by the way, I'm starting you today.
That's a nice tap on the shoulder.
You talking about well, your heart kind of dropped because it's like,
sure.
But where does come from?
Right.
And then
and you're minutes away from kickoff.
Yeah, and you're minutes away from kickoff, so it's not like you got any time to really process it.
Oh no!
And I'm like,
just before the game. This was just before the game.
Yeah, they stretching, Val, doing the stretch line, like you said. So they're on the field, and the coaches come around and tell you have a good game, and then all of a sudden, oh, by the way, Val, you're in the star lineup today.
Yeah, and he told me that, and part of me, your heart drops, but then the other part is like, this is my moment, this is my time. Yes, this is my time. Don't screw it up. And I'm thinking like, because you got to remember your plays, and I'm thinking I got a game to kind of watch and check everything out before I go in. I don't do that. So I go out there, and then at that time, Tony Dorsett was kind of at the end of his career.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys was out there, so my first tackle, Tony Dorsett, and that was one of my first tackles that I made. And then obviously went on and had a good game that game, and then I ended up doing it the next week.
Wow.
And then on opening day against the Los Angeles Rams, 1987, against the good Los Angeles Rams with Eric Dickerson.
Eric Dickerson in the backfield, right?
Yeah, Eric Dickerson, 6'3",
high stepping. Yeah.
With his goggles and his glasses and everything. So that's opening day, going against him. And I was like, when I was starting on opening day, after all that, then all the stuff with the cow quality, the street ball, and all that stuff kind of came to a head that game. And then from that game on for 10 years plus, even my last game I ever played, I started in. So, I'm very fortunate and thankful that the career went that way.
Man, that's good. And looking at today's game, let's take a step back, 2 steps here. You said something that was really important, because obviously the contracts today are not like the contracts they were when you were playing. But now, me and Val and the crew, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago, just dealing with my own NIL piece. How have you seen the NIL change the game? Because Val, I'm gonna break it down before Al answers this. So in basketball, the NIL has changed things, but we're still able to go one and done, meaning that the young man can come out of high school and play 1 year in the G League or something else, or go ahead and he can play overseas and then get paid from NIL deals, and he can still jump to the league his sophomore year, Val. Well, for football players, I think I'm right, Al, they can't go to the league until after their junior year. So now you got the NIL in place. Has the NIL business helped or has it hurt football as we see it today?
Good question. Good question.
Well, I think it's kind of like a double-edged sword. It's kind of good for some and bad for the others. I mean, when I say that, I mean, when you look at America, free enterprise, shop your services, everything that we're taught and that everybody strives for, whether it be now or adults or what have you, we're saying, well, no, they shouldn't be able to do it, even though I do it.
Right.
Right. The coaches can go out and make deals and get things with shoe companies and get paid for their coaches show and all this other stuff. And oh, by the way, if I get a better offer, I can leave you guys behind and go to another school.
Exactly. Exactly.
No,
But
that's messy. That's messy.
With no notice. I can do that at the beginning, in the middle, or the end with no notice, Val. So you can recruit these kids to come play for you. I've had a couple kids do that, check into school, and the coach comes in on the first day and says, hey, Al, I appreciate you coming here, but tomorrow's my last day, and my assistant is your new coach. I'm heading to such and such. That happens, Val, more often than you think.
And the kid can't well, I'm gonna leave too, or what have you. I mean, they got steps they have to go through. I mean, you could transfer with certain moves, but at the same time, what about people say your scholarship, just a traditional scholarship, room, board, and housing, and all those type of things. It only takes care of the bare minimum, right? If you hungry, you big 300-pound lineman, and you need some snacks. Well, you don't have no money to go get some snacks until you got to wait till morning. If you got to wait till morning to eat, it's a little different. And then some places may not like the food, or they don't cook it right, or whatever the case may be. You're stuck whatever they cook. Some people are very picky eaters, or whatever the case may be. Well, you got to eat it because it's sitting there. We had something called the carousel, right, at Utah State, and the carousel was like a tray that went around in circles, went around. So they put, the kitchen, they put the food on and they go around, and people would take the food as they went. We would just be standing there thinking something else is gonna keep coming, but nothing else came.
Ain't nothing else coming. It's the same thing coming.
It's the same plate. So so if we didn't like it, we can't just go down to the local restaurant or steakhouse and get no food because you don't have any money. So it's just like basic needs. You want to take your girlfriend out, or go on a date, or hey, something happened at home. I need to get home because my mom is sick, or my dad, or my sister, or I need to go see my grandma. Well, I can't go because I don't have any money. Right. So when you look at this life necessities and everything that we talk about, free enterprise, all those type of things, adults, go for it. Always trying to go for the bigger and the better. Well, when the kid does it, all of a sudden it's a problem. Or when the kid has the opportunity to do it, it's not like only some, maybe the Heisman Trophy winners and some of the big time guys may be getting a lot now, but it's not everybody across the board. It's not the whole roster isn't cleaning up. It may be a handful of guys. Right. So everybody's looking at the handful of guys, but 5 through 90, they're struggling. Yeah. And so, but all you're going to see on the news is, Caleb Williams or Deion's son, or
exactly right.
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
So I have two things, but right now this is Mark, one of the people he wanted to ask, and one of the things I asked about was mentorship. And this is something that happened with you back when you were at Utah. But right now, because I'm very happy to hear about, and we're going to be wrapping up, to hear about the work that you do with the alumni chapter with the NFL. Here, Mark asks, what other athletic careers do you encourage athletes to go into if they can't make it to the pros?
Well, I would say this, Mark, and we didn't get to this piece as well. When my career ended, I was very fortunate to be hired into the front office of the team that I played for.
I heard.
So I was able to get offered a job with the same team that I played for. Now, I tell kids all the time, well, you think they would have offered me that job if I was a knucklehead for 10 years? If I was causing trouble for 10 years? If I was being a good player but making a lot of noise for 10 years and creating all this problem in the community and all that? No, they wouldn't have offered me that position.
Right.
The first time I was able to go to the owner's office, the owner of the team's office, now you would see him and wave or shake hand in the locker room from time to time, was when I got hired in the front office. That was the first time he wanted to sit down and talk to me. Now he want to talk to me. I thought, he's serious. Like have a conversation, because now he I guess I was an employee, I guess, working for the team, but now I'm in the front office now. So now he got to really, really see what he's getting.
Right.
My first sit down with him, and that let me know that these two different worlds and how they come together of being able to transcend. But I would answer his question as far as there's great careers. There's personnel as far as evaluating talent, scouting. There's community service. We're going to go into that as far as the gear up stuff. Working in the community. There's community relations. There's media relations as far as if you like media, working with the media of the team. There's marketing within the team. There's a business side of the team. There's operations, travel, logistics, setting up hotels and doing the hotel and the travel and the food and all those type of things with the team. So you can be within a sport without getting beat up in the sport.
Right.
So there are plenty of jobs, because I like the other side better than get beat up all the time. So the football part was fun, for that time, but being able to have a career outside of that into the other aspect is great. So there's many other areas that I mentioned, Mark. So like if you look at a team and you kind of look at their websites and things like that, you can see all the different areas. I ran off a lot of them. Most of the teams have the same different. Because the league is a copycat league, so one team has something, another team is going to have that position as well. And trainers, obviously trainers, the medical staff, all those type of things. Depending on what a kid would like to get into, it's there for them.
Yeah, and speaking of there for them, you mentioned it a moment ago. Let's switch gears a little bit real quick here before we wrap up. Let's talk about the tremendous work. Val, I got an opportunity to be invited down on the initial launch of Gear Up Tennessee, something that's been very exciting to us here on Interludes. And we talked about that because the whole country was shut down dealing with COVID. And here it is that Al and these group of pros and these brothers came together to do something real positive. Al, tell us a little bit about Gear Up Tennessee and the objective of it and what you're trying to do with this.
Well, one thing about Gear Up Tennessee, we were able to partner with the Tennessee Department of Health here in Tennessee. Was able to obtain a grant through the Department of Health here to go out and spread the word in underserved communities. Underserved communities, we know what that means. That means look like us. So, so in most cases, there's rural areas, city areas, all the underserved, where the numbers were low, people hesitancy as far as having access, and not telling someone to get vaccinated or to get a flu shot or what have you, but or getting dental work, or it's all about health and wellness and bringing these resources together at a community event to where the community can be served if they choose to be served in those areas. Because a lot of times people may want a vaccination or whatever the case may be, but they don't have access to get it, or don't know how to get it, or don't know where to find it. So we're bringing it to the community. And we've had these events to be able to touch people and touch communities. And when you have it, even 50 and over, when it comes to shingles is something a lot of people don't talk about.
Right.
It affects people, over 50. So the senior homes and communities were coming out. So we go into the communities and go into the backyards, work with churches, work with community leaders. This weekend on Saturday, with the Kurdish community, the Muslim community. As far as them, they have a big contingent of followers in community, cooking food and sports and all those type of things. So we touch different communities, rural communities. Shelby County, we went to rural areas to bring it to them. And if people don't want it, that's fine. But just having these other resources, it's not just about, hey, get vaccinated. It's how we have Meharry comes out, have a mobile 18-wheeler dental bus where you can get fillings for people that don't take most health issues start with your teeth. In a lot of cases, people don't take care of the teeth, and just being able to have access to get fillings for whether it be kids or them or cleanings and all these type of things that they never had. Well, we're bringing it to them. So all they have to do is like being in a dental office in this 18-wheeler. You used to see it. It's almost like being in a dental office once you get in there. So just bringing that to the community, Val, and Gear Up Tennessee is all about that, and really touching the community, giving insight and opportunity and resources to the underserved.
And I recently saw an interview with you, and you were talking about the NFLA gearup.org. And what exactly happens with that? Because I was looking at that going, wow, this is really important of the work that you do with the NFL alumni, which is great.
Yeah, the website is basically, kind of shows everything, where we're going to be, what we're going to do, but that it kind of goes with the program. We have PSAs on there. We have guys, from Warren Moon to Neil O'Donnell, who was Steve McNair's backup for many years, to Blaine Bishop that Tony had mentioned, Chris Johnson, Javon Curse. All these guys have done great PSAs for the community, and being able to trying to touch people and give them the opportunity not only to get their health, and then they can come meet their favorite player if they like to, if they want autographs, take pictures. All that is kind of like an opportunity to do that, as well as do all these other great things for your health and your family and the kids, and have good food and giveaways and things like that. Just just seeing the look on the kids' faces, even the adults, just having that opportunity to be able to get these services, because COVID vaccines and all these type of things, and the updated, because the updated version is out now. Now we're into 4 months. People are going to have to start paying for it. It's been free for like 2.5 years. Right. But now that the government is trying to pull back, so people have to do it through their insurance. If they don't have insurance, then they got to go through other avenues, and those shots are pricey. And if you get it free, and you have the opportunity to do it. Vanderbilt has done it for us. Meharry has done it. Walgreens. All these different entities come out and partner with us. They're at the tent right next to the players or what have you. So we see, what it's doing for people and people in communities that don't have access to it.
Man, that is when I say awesome. Again, we look at these players, and Val and I, we talk a little bit about this. We have different people on, and we always looking at the glory, the touchdowns, the baskets, the dunks, the home runs, the hockey drops. But what we don't get an opportunity to see, somebody like you, my brother, who's literally out there, hands to the streets, elbows to the grind, and proud of you. That's why I stay connected, and anything you need me doing, I'm jumping in as much as I can as well. And it's good. Just keep up that solid work, man. And we appreciate your time tonight. We thank you for getting on Interludes Talk on Tuesday with Val the Voice and myself, Coach Tony. It's been awesome.
Well, it's been awesome. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Val, for having me spend a little time, bring a little West Coast love your way.
There you go. Bring up this downtown. And speaking of that, Me and Val was talking about Vegas. I got my promotional purposes only. I got my Las Vegas Aces to beat her New York Liberty WNBA in the next couple of days. So we're gonna watch that, Al.
Come on, New York. Come on, New York.
It should be a good game, though.
Oh, yeah.
Al Smith, thank you so much for joining us on today. We appreciate you so very much, sir.
Well, appreciate you too, Val, and thank you, Coach, and we'll be talking.
Yes, sir.
Come on back when you have some time. We appreciate you. Peace. Oh, my goodness.
Man.
Coach, you always bring the people. You always bring the good people to us. I mean, Al, such a sweetheart, man. I was sitting here
and
taking notes and
that,
learning over here, man. Cali.
Doing that work.
That's how Cali rolls.
Yeah, doing that work. And that question that Mark asked was great because a lot of people, they always feel that some of these guys play their careers, and when the career's over, they lost their money, dignity, they're broken up, they can't move, they can't walk. That may have been some of the older guys, but here it is. You see, like anything, if you structure yourself, if you take the opportunity to, go, what I like about everything that Al said tonight, Val, was that he always had someone in front of him that he was chasing. And he always had that one person, which was his older brother and older people and friends, that he saw how they did it. So that'd be no different than, you and my big sister, and I'm at home running around Chicago. I know Mama said get in with the street light, but I'm trying to jump on the L in the CTA when you roll. You know what I mean? So, it's really good. And now you've got a cause, not just a cause, Val, but a cause that's worthy to the people that's saving lives. Getting these people vaccinated, making sure you get these people teeth cleaned and fillings put in, and making sure that they need groceries delivered. That's a whole other level of stuff.
And I think that the one thing that I was very impressed with doing the research on Al was that he was with one team, and even as the team moved cities from Houston to Tennessee, and they asked him to work in the front office, stay connected. And the main thing is because he was not one of the troubling players while he was a player, was like, of course, come on to the front office. And so I hope people, our kids, and definitely are people that are interested in being an athlete, especially if you're in team sports, it's important. What you do off the field is just as important as what you do on the field. Because keep in mind, they were checking him out and noticing things, and he was able to have a career and then continue his career in the front office and continue to be a mentor to other young athletes. So it was, and good Val, to hear about his mentorship and at Utah, at U State. That was really important too. So I wanted to talk about that. Yeah.
And we're talking about, this is pre-social media.
I know. This is the 80s, 90s.
This back in our days, girl. We were acting a fool, right?
You pick up a phone.
Hey, phone check. Hey, get up there. We got one phone in the hallway. Hey, Val, make that a 5-minute phone call. I got a call I'm waiting on. It's like phone check. And when, like Al just mentioned, you on the campus, just like when we were at school, we didn't have that parent. I didn't. The people, we had to jump on the IC and take that train all the way downtown Chicago. Right. And then if you had luggage or a backpack, get off at Union Station, walk over to the L, jump on the L, take the L to the bus. I mean, it wasn't like you just got home. You had sometimes that was an all-day mission just to get home, And but the thing is, it made you a better person. And you see those traits that he talked about, going back to the old neighborhood. Teacher, 80 years old, didn't want anything, just wanted to make sure he did well in life. It's huge. I mean, I tell my son that here I am, 40 years later, I still keep in touch with my old high school coach at Morgan Park. And speaking of Morgan Park, real quick, Val, I want to throw you one. This weekend at Gately Stadium, Morgan Park and Simeon football for the city playoffs. Boom. You know how they get down over there.
Yeah, and that's extremely regional. As for our folks out in LA and New York that's watching, have no clue what Gately Stadium is or Morgan Park. No, don't diss any of those guys, but I'm just saying you are so cute with that.
Hey, but
Oh my
you know how
gosh.
we do. And I'm telling you, over the next few weeks, please stay tuned to what we got going on here in Interludes, because I got a drop the mic guests coming up in the next couple of weeks. Matter of fact, two of them. And again, stay tuned to the ear, Mark and you guys. I saw Wise out there tonight. What's up, baby boy? I like, and Val, I'm going to tell you, by the way, I had such a blast getting on the clubhouse with the guys and listening in. And I got that Louis Vega, Michael Jackson remix that you were playing the other day, what I was trying to tell you. And I like that. I just love it. So thank you very much. I've been listening in on that and just growing everything. But, once again, that's why you my sidekick.
Anyway, Interludes, we're celebrating 3 years. We thank you guys for being here. And then, of course, our affiliate sponsor, our sponsor for today is Legal Shield, as we've told you guys earlier. If you need a will or a trust or something prepared, or you're worried about identity theft or have a business you need to protect or trademark, learn how Legal Shield can help represent you and your legal needs at the fraction of a cost. Please visit the website linktr.ee/Pure Light Media for more information. And I'll go ahead and have Kevin place that in the chat. I have a whole bunch of things I'll be premiering on next week. I've been doing an after show, and that's what you listened in on. And I'll be telling you guys more about that and how you can listen in on that. And that's on Clubhouse, and that'll be in some other markets as well. But come join us next week. Next week on Talk on Tuesdays, we'll be talking some more and doing some more things. But on behalf of myself and Coach Tony, we wish you a wonderful and blessed evening. Thank you so very much for joining us. We'll do it next week, right, Coach?
You already, and as we say, don't beat us here. Meet us here, beat us here.
And as Wise is telling me here in the chat, you, Coach, and myself, we're coming in hot.
Hey man, hey Wise. All I'm trying to tell you, man, keep the fire department on speed dial for us, please, man.
We'll go ahead. We'll see you guys next week. Be blessed. Oh, wait, something happened. We have to do that again. We have to do our ending again. Here we go. Bye.